I'll hit it up. I'm going to just being that we're in no games, just your name. Whatever you want to do, we can drill something or go over something. You said you like a lot of half guard.
I'm just trying to work on half guard, not necessarily like it. So what Mike and I actually had a private with Tanner, got a little bit out of in this regard. It's like when I'm rolling with someone who's got like 20, 30, 40 pounds on me, and I end up on the bottom, I've just been exhausting myself. So I'm trying to change up my game so like I can, we'll wait for options instead of just exhausting myself.
I have the same problem with the side control. For me, it's bottom side control. When someone's better or better at heavier. The biggest thing with exhaustion is getting on your side in the fetal position. And what I found even better. And I'm generalizing because we've got to roll. I know I've rolled with you. Proficient. But what I found is this position right here is my most ideal half guard position. So either I'm hooking in half guard or I'm shielding with both and framing with this one. But this elbow gives me power to drive or post and frame. Whereas I found that I was being ineffective here driving from the shoulder, and it allowed me to roll easily onto my back. So even if I had a good knee shield, I wasn't able to control my torso. So this is where I often steal the term iron squirrel if my knees and elbows and my spine, head to hips are aligned. In any position, I'm usually pretty safe. Even in the inversion, and even here, I'm still pretty lined up, keeping my elbows, trying to protect what I call the bikini line. So this triangle between the elbows and knees, not letting them touch my bikini area. Because the danger zones are when they start prying underhooks, getting in and pinning my hips and my knees. So we'll just do a real light roll. We'll see what you're doing from half guard. Think of being safe, conserving energy, either keeping me in your guard or re-guarding. But if you do go to close guard, using it as a sweep or submission transition point. A lot of times we get in close guard, we're like, okay, now that I got you, thinking we're going to recover, which is fine, but sometimes we get smashed. You know what I mean? And the biggest problem I have is even if I'm safe here, it sucks. So I'm trying to get maybe there, maybe here, to work my way up to this.
Yeah, so outside of like some of that stuff we're doing with X-Guard and Galiva, and then some of the stuff you showed, and then occasional little blips, I have like very little like hills placement. Half guard just to get I end up in it, but
I get it. And that's why I want to see what you need, then I'll put your line out for and we'll see where we're at. And that way I like to show offense so you can work on the defense. So. I do feel a good heel curl on you. This is what's horrible for me. I'm feeling this and this push-pull. I know I'm gonna have trouble. But I almost feel like it's almost too much energy spent. Like if you're driving in and I'm doing this constantly, I feel like there's a strain on my hamstring. I don't know if you're feeling that, but there's a lot of tension there. Sometimes you can just even hook. So there's gonna be, as you start to disengage to try to detach to come around, that's the only time I come in. So if you start trying to pass here, I'm not constantly hamstring pulling. Don't try to do like this. Like this. Oh, I'm sorry, but do you know what I mean?
yeah.
No, but you can start seeing that.
So what are you going through there? I've never actually seen that.
So, I'm driving this as you move, and when you transition here to get to the kneecap, you post it up on this foot. You started to drive or something like that. I knew your next move was to move this here. So I was hoping I could catch you before you get your knee up. And I just did a scissor sweep.
Okay, it's the scissor sweep, but like low.
Yeah, I just did it super low. It's not always a high percentage because if you see it coming, when you sprawl here, you can reach for this. You can just straighten that leg out and I'm going to lose this. But I just happened to catch it in the crotch.
Yeah.
So the scissor sweep's always there. If you can get here and you feel like someone's really going to pass, and that knee's coming up, right? Your knee's going to come up over my inner thigh. And it's almost inevitable. You can try to double down and do this. It only holds off the inevitable because now we know we can backstep, right? Let's just say you're not going to backstep. What I've been telling my son is, if you can try to, now what you gotta do is my feet are here, I'm not doing anything. I gotta get my feet on the mat, keep my knees pinched. This foot goes on the mat and I'm gonna double down my fingers. I'm trying to hit the skate out to try to prevent you from getting on there. So knowing those little subtleties, again, if we start going and we're trying to pass. Guard, regard, knee shield. So I'm thinking for you, because you are strong, I don't want you to worry about just holding in your guard. Try to get a little hip distance and then regarding or resting up. You can stand up and wrestle up. If you create enough space. Front of my head, do the big brother to me and just stand up. If you know what I'm talking about, just like just forearm shoulder. So if we're coming here, we'll go slow. So I'm coming here. I don't feel that much tension I did like the first time, but that hook's here so that if I start disengaging, you can start pulling back in there. And then here, you're almost playing this between, this can be in my hip. If someone's taller than you, which I have a lot, you go armpit across the chest. Because now that prevents me from doing this because you're still in an upward degree. The moment you don't want to be is when I'm just doing this.
Yeah, that usually, so like if I'm with someone big, pretty soon this will be matched there.
Yeah. There's a couple of different tricks to do, but they're hard. So, but if you start feeling yourself getting snatched, frame on my head, it seems like a different. You don't want to be low on my head. Right. That little post is going to help you. And also, if you can get it to your elbow.
Right.
So we're going to show you the difference between what you just did from your shoulder. You can feel I'm at the toes, I'm driving forward. You're not using effort, you're using your structure to keep me away. And I almost pushed you back into a stand-up position.
Right.
So if you can start working those frames, trying to conserve some energy on the hooks, but keeping the hooks snug. I don't even realize that I'm doing that, but I felt what you were doing. I think.
Well, when you showed me, it felt like hook here and just using my foot versus using my there. So it's like that's nice.
Yeah. And if I start trying to trap this knee here, no, what I'm trying to do is if you relax, I'm trying to straighten the leg out so you can get like that. Right? So if you get this, and I'm almost doing this, this is where you're gonna get to that elbow and do that scissor sweep. Because you see that my post is no longer out, my base is out. I'm compromised and my center of gravity is going over that knee.
When you did that scissor sweep, you were kind of doing it like more, the one you did was more.
I switched over and I went to that side.
Yeah.
I'll do a scissor sweep from this position when I got someone in close guard. For me, I need to have my knees wide. But the moment I start doing this, I bring this into this log splitter, my knees are now in line. So if you drive me that way, I've got no base. You take this out, right? But I might double down. So let's just say for some reason I strengthen here. Maybe switch this hip and just do a scissor sweep this way. So it's not always there, and it's not that you're faking in one direction, but I've seen it before on my post. But now I'm committed to posting here. I'm no longer posting here. So I did it without thinking. I'm also thinking that with the knees. So if my knees are in line here, Merlin's a great example. Merlin doubles down on here. He'll trap here, and he's just like, you're not gonna do anything. Right?
Yeah.
So, but the moment he starts progressing forward, he starts advancing, this knee line gets compromised. Now, there's no base here. So if I'm fighting here, you can even double jump. I think I'm pinning you, hook my outside elbow. And then now just go for that club sweep. So you're almost gonna club me in the back of the head like a collar tie, but you're really driving my head towards the mat. Yeah. So with that one, there's a clubbing where it's not really striking, but you're clubbing to redirect. As long as you've got that knee compromised where they can't base out, you should be able to go to sweep or enough, like Tanner says, the push-pull motion to open up and go in the direction. He does it from X guard, he does it from open guard, where he'll just kind of make you post in one direction, and then he goes for what he's going for. So let's go with the same concept, working up to your elbow, working on a little economy of motion and energy on your half guard.
So working up, like starting down.
Yeah, we'll start here. I'm gonna try to keep you on that shoulder, and I'm trying to pin this shoulder to the mat as I pass. Try to pin your hips, post on your knees. Because this, as dexterous as you are, you can be here, or you can cross. This is gonna help you to prevent me from driving in. This here is gonna help you to keep this pinched, but also being able to open. So if I start trying to go in here and frame on your hip because I wanna get past that knee, you can use this to pinch, okay? So this little extra. If for some reason you have to go down to the mat, you can, because you might want to bring this in to shrimp escape. And as I start doing this, and as I keep driving, you can use the knee out. To regard. So there's those little subtleties where if you get committed to locking in, and like I said, it's not a negative, I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying, you have a little bit more options, whereas if you're not deadlocking my leg. Merlin's little leg stick here fucks me up. I'm like, I don't know what to do if I can get that leg out. So I start threatening the Kimura. So with the Kimura, I'm hoping he's gonna posture up. If I don't get the Kimura, him doubling back gives me this Kimura. Him driving forward gives me the Kimura. So his defense has to be this one to come up here and then drive in, right? So if you threaten the Kimura just to get this leg free, let's get this leg nice and locked like he likes to do. You don't like it, right? I gotta address it. The moment you feel that disengagement, you can either roll out to take my back, or you can reguard, or you can finish the Kimura. If I start driving in, you need to get it. So I like threatening the Kimura to get the Kimura, but if not, I'm just trying to get out the gate, bro. If someone goes to the Kimura and starts flattening your hips, then you gotta frame and get them off your hips. Bail on the Kimura, frame on the head. I like framing on the head or the neck. If you want to be nice in the newer, frame right here on this little junction of the neck. So if you're coming in and you trap this bottom leg of mine, you know what I'm talking about, you can't get out. So I'm here, I feel like you're gonna pass, just right there. So this doesn't seem like much of a dick move as this. This seems like a real good dick move, I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, even the jaw, the face, the ear, but this is a good one too, so the more you drive, and I'm here, you have to address that, right? You can go from this elbow, arm drag straight, yeah, arm drag back. Back to regard. Half guard. Right. Okay. Back step. I'm trying to control your hips. Yeah. So let's try and get a little movement going. You got frame my face, frame my head, frame my neck. If I double down up here, get your hips out.
We framing on that shoulder?
That's framing on the closest one. So it's framing right here on the neck. You can even, there's this Brazilian guy who did this to me, which the thumb kept getting in my throat. I think he was doing it on purpose. He's like, let's flow drill, and then flow roll. And I think he thought I was being too aggressive. He just kept thumb jamming me. So, but it gives you that little extra. I don't know if you saw my knees were one big stop. Does that feel a little bit better?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I think being here and then at the very base, this is kind of get up on my shoulder, keep that post, keep this active but not overly engaged, and let this one kind of flow where it needs to be to have my shield.
The lockdown also works there effectively. If you can get both of your feet on the inside of my outside leg, whereas if I do start to smash you or if I start to body lock you, the lockdown will help you to recover underhooks. Because if I body lock you, that means I have double underhooks. With someone smashing you in body lock in a half guard, if you get me, and you're just gonna wrap your arm around my torso, you're gonna lock your hands behind my back. This is a body lock. So if I try to get this lock down here, it doesn't do much for me to sweep, but what it does, it prevents you from going further north, right? So I'm gonna start trying to push your forehead. To do that, I'm only really going for underhooks. I'm only pushing the head because I need this underhood. Okay, so I'm not saving myself. It's not a defensive move to prevent you from smashing me. What it is, it's preventing you from going up so that I can get that underhook. Now, if I don't do that, and you do that body lock, double underhook, and you're really locking your hands behind me like it's uncomfortable in this, and I don't have a lockdown. I don't know why. I just can't get that.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is I bait that. Like, let's say this is your right leg, this is your left knee, and I'm in this half guard. So I'm kind of out here trying to do the knee shield up here, but I feel like it's inevitable. You're just being too good, and I know you're gonna get past here. I'll kind of sneak these feet in between on the inside of your legs, and I'm kind of lining here. So at the moment that you elevate your foot, boom, I'm in the lockdown. So I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm here, and you're just smashing that leg, and I can't frame it. I just kind of get him in between. I know what I'm doing. I'm just setting it up here. So anytime you want to move and you start driving progressing, I'm preventing that knee from getting out in between my thighs. So I immediately said, oh shit, I got that locked in. So that's one thing that you can start doing. And all you're going to do is going to go from that outside here to real subtle. I don't even know you're doing this. You're locking it on my leg. You're not putting any pressure. The moment I elevate my foot, that's when you understand the lockdown. So we'll start in regular lockdown. I'm not going to give you much pressure, but you feel like I'm coming past the knee, and that's kind of a bait. So once you get this, both feet are on this side. Both feet are going to be on the inside. They're just lined up. They're almost like paralleling my leg and my ankle. The moment you feel this, that's when you hook your toes under my ankle. That's all you're looking for. Because right now I'm being really strong, laces down. So let me get it out. This is what I'm going to end up doing. Laces down, and if you try to get the lockdown right here, go ahead and try to scoop your feet under my ankle. There's no space. On active toes, you can do it. Knowing that subtle difference, right? It's not easy, but you can do it easier.
Trying to remember. So this, I have it right? That's if I get in.
Lockdown is the outside one in first, and then the inside one in front. So at first, you're kind of lined up just on the inside. But I'm laces down, and you can't scoop. And you're kind of scooping, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling threat. But you know I got past this. So I'm going to start doing this. In order for me to progress, you got to get both of those feet on the inside. As I elevate, put both toes and cross your ankle underneath my ankle. That's it right there. So that's the subtle difference you're going to feel. Let me disengage because I'm not real flexible there. So now, if you try to get the lockdown, curling your toes under, I'm laces down. I know what you're going for. On active toes, you can kind of work it, but it's almost better to bait me into it. You know you've moved your feet from the outside to the inside, and now I'm trying. As soon as I elevate, I want you to suck this elbow in, and then punch to the sky for that underhook. So you're framing, you keep me from going here. And then this is where you can go to your shoulder if I'm smashing you. You're gonna suck this elbow in, and as you pinch your knees, bring your heels to the ass, point to that ceiling. I want you to punch to the sky. You're almost going like this. You're rolling from this hip to that hip. And you're gonna get this underhook at the same time. I'm trying to get here. That's the ideal sweep. You worked for the underhook and you kept my lockdown, my knees down below your crotch. I can't do anything. Now you're gonna just put that straight arm in my armpit or my tricep and work up to your hand. Work the pass. So now you swept and passed. Okay? You start to lose the lockdown. If not, hold on a lockdown until you get control of the head and arm, and then disengage the legs.
So man, I'm in here, so I can play this. If I have to move here, I can bring it here, kind of lock it up, or I can start to move. That's where my foot would be for lockdown.
Yeah.
And then I just scoop, and then from here.
So the motion is, yeah, and the problem that I've had with the lockdowns, I thought, oh man, I got the lockdown, I'm great, I'm in a great position, and they just slowly smash me here. And then I have to change to what's called the lotus. I cross my legs over their leg. Now I've got their leg trapped with my ankles, and I'm sprawling my knees, but I'm just buying time to reposition. So the thing to know is once you bait them into this, they elevate that foot, it's kind of a timing thing where you gotta pinch your knees, bring your heels to your ass, and then whip up all the way on this opposite hip. So instead of trying to go up to do it, it's called a whip up and whip down. So I'm going locking, pinching my knees, bringing my heels to my ass, trying to get, sucking this in, punching to the sky. This one's getting underhook. I'm keeping my heels tucked to my butt, and then I'm rocking up. Heels to my ass, knees pinched. That's the motion right there. Yeah. Yep. And I'll show you, you're gonna have double underhooks, you're gonna have the lockdown, and I'm just gonna keep trying to post. And you're gonna feel how fluid you're gonna start opening me up, going from hip to hip. You can see on the video over this way.
That's fucking heroin we swept yesterday.
Very good lock. Go ahead and start with the lock. And you're gonna start with the double underhooks, and you're gonna have both. I just want you to not sweep me all the way, but you're gonna extend my leg that way. So go ahead and extend my leg. That's where you want to be. And then I want you to heel curl and then swing to this hip. And then out, push up. No, go back that way. And extend the feet. Okay, so extend the feet elevates my knee. Yep. And then all the way the other way. And you're just working this move. I want you to keep under. So I'll post on my body, but you want to be. And now as you rock this way, you can underhook this leg and try to meet your hand around the torso.
Is this not a deep half?
This is called electric plug. It is a deep half would be like when you're more underneath my knee. But this is where you're now locking me to either go to electric chair sweep or submission. So if I go and pull it up here and you roll over to your right shoulder, you're gonna shoulder my knee over your shoulder. You've got me in a submission right here. Overhook my tricep on my quad. And now if you extend your toes, you're gonna get most people to submit right about there. So you can feel that I'm tight, but let's just say for some reason I cut your head. I want you to roll up onto your right elbow, you're gonna sweep the key down top. Hold on to the lockdown, so you got one lockdown, get both knees down on the mat, hips down, and keep going here. And now you can either disengage this arm and control my head and arm torso. Now you can disengage the leg. Once you control my shoulders, that's when you let go of the lockdown. Go to half guard. So the lockdown, there are submissions there. I just want you to know this is sweet right now. You don't want to hurt people's knees if they look like they're over 30 and they got fucked up knees, which you won't know. It's just that puts a lot of tweak on the knee. It doesn't hurt my knees, but guys that tell me I don't do it or see because I know I can do it, and I know they're going to tap, but I'm just cognizant. So whenever I'm here, I don't just hold it. I just make sure I transition. I'm just doing this rocket motion.
So not always extending it.
Yeah.
Extending it.
It just depends. Do I want to get a better position? Do I accidentally hurt them? You just kind of play with it. So you'll feel it. Are your knees all right?
Most of the time, but I'm pretty good.
The right one is better? The right one or left one better?
No, they're both jacked. They're both pretty.
So we're going to go slow, like 50%. You're going to see both my feet on the outside of your leg. I'm trying to frame. And you're starting to beat my frames. You're snatching my knee. Do you see how kind of quick it was? But it wasn't quick because I knew from here, I'm losing this. You're starting to pass. I need to go feet on the inside. As you drive forward, I'm going to be able to scoop and double underhooks. I'm actually not rocking as much as you think, but I'm working on my right hip. And if you try to smash the shoulder to the mat, that's rocking it. So I can extend here and be a real dick, right? Where I can just try to say, okay, now I'm gonna get you here. Here I just kind of hold it, whereas if I start tweaking your knee, you're gonna feel an angle and stuff like that. Other times I just use this as a pass. Boom. Stands me. You start with your feet on the outside. You're gonna get to here. So let's start with your feet on this outside part. We're trying to do half guard. Pass. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I was kind of gonna stop and do it that.
No, I get it. But you don't always need that leg on there. I was already on my back. If you just got up, you're good. So we'll do a little, that's one of your options. But don't forget, you can also frame, shrink out, create space in the back. That progressive part that Tanner's always talking about. Good. I don't feel that you're putting as much muscular effort into it. You're breathing and you're transitioning. Does that help?
Huge, man. So I think that's like, I guess it's fucking before I'm doing arm bars. But I got options here.
Yeah.
So instead of ever, like, I think where I get stuck at is like, got a good grip, I got a good position, and instead of continue to just move, it starts to get tight, right? And then once I get tight, then I'm just using tons of energy, and I'm not just kind of moving, like, trying to just maintain control instead of control through.
Talking about yesterday's arm bar drills. I don't get those a lot, and it's not that they're not effective. They're obviously high percentages. My problem is I don't think I elevate my hips enough. And the foot that comes across the face, I'm fine with that one, whatever leg that is. It's the one that comes up to the armpit. I don't think I elevate that one far enough, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. It makes sense. Yeah, you get my bar. Because you were doing closed guard drills at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what definition is. So what I'm saying is, I have trouble bringing this one up far enough to get to this, right? And I know what you're saying. I think I have to have this so glued down before I even transition. But it's almost like you have to control the arm or even in the gi to where you're moving and fluid. And as I'm moving, I gotta bring this foot up. That allows me to trap that tricep elbow right there. But I'm so worried about losing this that I put all my effort here. I'm not able to elevate this leg far enough. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So maybe being a little bit more conscious of just like using this in the transition. Because I've been thinking like, why am I not good at that one? Because I am like, I got control your still here.
The other piece is like if I get you an arm bar. So this is like the concept is like half guard, pretty much any position. I'm just using the arm bar. So if I got in the arm bar, like all the way down,
Yeah.
And this is all I know is getting this power prop
Yeah.
and just go till I can switch right.
Right.
But then yesterday, we're doing things like where we're switching to
Perfect.
scissor guard there, or 3/4 guard, or a quarter guard, and then that way it's like, oh, I don't have to just fucking stay in this one dimension and then protect it with all my might. Like, oh, you're gonna move that way, I'm gonna move this way. The same thing, that's the concept with half guard. Like, just even showing me different places to put my feet.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I move that there, I move that there, I go there. Oh, I can get set up for lockdown.
Yeah.
So just whatever the position is.
So
As an early blue belt, like flow, practice flowing, you might lose it more, but you're not wasting so much energy and you're not getting brain stuck.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the arm bar, but yes, the transitioning, another good point is half guard or bottom game. I want to keep the knee tight so that you don't drop your hip, But now that I've put both knees in the air, the only thing that's keeping me from pivoting is really just the back friction of my ass, and I'm not really good at those. So if I'm gonna lift a knee, you do want one post. Or if I'm gonna put this one down here, I want a knee shield with this one. Being cognizant that if they're both up, I've got nothing. I saw myself when I first started recording is I bring my knees up and I do this. But all they'd have to do is walk their hips down and then my hips would rotate this way. So being cognizant that this one's up to knee shield, this one's down to post on the mat. If this one's gonna be down to try to block a hip, which it might not, I'm using this to actively re-guard a knee shield. So having one down is better than this. I know sometimes we're tight here intentionally, but then we have to do this using this structure sometimes. Back to the arm bar. The thing is, you would be really good at Kimuras. Kimura hold arm bars, and then Tanner showed this thing that I didn't know. So as we're working on this, and let's just say you're just being really good defending, you're really nice and deep doing a genie or whatever, or a rhino, you can do that one or you can do this one, right? Well, I can't get this foot here. And instead of pulling down, what I do is I push the elbow and just keep it deeper. Or you can go to that Kimura grip, like this. So these might be good alternatives for you, where you're not using strength again. We know we're strong, we want to use this structure. So if you're doing this and you start pushing your chest into my elbow and getting that elbow across that center line, that might help you. Whereas then you can transition your knees to where you want them to be. So let's try a couple of those. So you can see yourself down it. I'm gonna go over here. Video. So one is the Kimura hold, just a traditional, doesn't matter which arm's hooked. And yeah. And then your right hand's gonna go to my wrist. And then your left hand's gonna go over your own wrist. And you wanna straighten out, see this wrist, let's straighten this out a little bit more. You gotta reverse it. So your wrists aren't compromised up, you're compromised, they're straightened out. So now you can be more strong with these wrists. Try to suck the elbow into your chest. Okay. Now as you're holding that close to your chest, you can transition your face all you want. And I'm worried about the arm. Can you lay in the position that you want? Sorry. You know what I mean?
Looking at you.
Super, super tight. Another one is if I'm really committed to my defense, and you got a shallow hook with that arm. Okay? Bring your elbow, my elbow to your chest. And for some reason it's not working, what you can do is instead of pulling this one over and I'm holding this down, push with your left hand, push my tricep away, scoot in, and scoot your arm through. And as you scoot in, you basically double down on this. And push this all the way. Yeah. So this is where you be in a better position. You can either go to that break, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you go into a shallow grip, chest, now push my tricep and scoot in. That little transition sucks.
Yeah. Because it's rolling you up and pushing your arm.
Yeah, because ideally what you want is that elbow straight up to the ceiling. You want to get your crutch in the rear of the delt. That's giving you this arm lock to where as you come down, all you have to do is hip up. But the moment I start getting this, I want to get this elbow to the back. So just knowing that little control. Another one is you get back up and you get in the arm bar and you give me a little light, you give me a little daylight. So I'm going to try to stack, right? And you know I'm going to stack. And as I stack, you give me just enough to get about a few inches up. Then I want you to immediately straighten your heel and then heel curl immediately. So you're baiting me. You're letting me stack, straight, and heel curl. What that does is it opens this up. So you don't have to immediately extend. That's going to open me up already. And all you got to do is keep this torso straight, stuck to this. And as I come up, see how my head just got extended from my elbow? So it's a great jerk move. I like doing that to people. And you can do it 3 times. 2, 3 times. The more I do it, I'm just going to get exhausted. I'm going to stop trying to stack. Yeah. Have you ever done that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like a little bit different.
But
like, so the thing, and too, this is like trying to move into the blue belt, stop doing so much white belt things. And part of it is like, I'm just kind of going with what comes next to my brain.
Yeah.
But rarely ever like baiting or setting myself up yet. So that's why I'm trying to like, okay, well, I got options. The only place I feel like I'm good at, like, setting stuff up is in my guard, where I'll be like, obviously displaying I'm not fucking sweeping and a sweepy till I get an arm bar with like a blue belt or a white belt. I usually will eventually open up something. But in things like that, like even in some arm bar, power prop, the idea of like, I don't know, it's gonna be controlling. I can move through and I can start baiting. I can start giving them some.
That position right there that you're at, you could use that as a stall. When I do, I probably don't see it. I'll just pause right there and see what you're gonna do. And it's not that I am so calculated or strategic, so I'm not. I am waiting to see what opening you're gonna give me, but if you actually do something effective, then I'm not going to lock down. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I go, oh shit, I got a frame. I gotta prevent it from getting it. So you're okay. The biggest thing I always tell my son, you're learning black belt moves. So these are all black belt moves. We're just not black belts. That's all it is. So you saying you're doing white belt things that even black belts go. So revisiting something, I feel like you'd be really good at dogfight. I don't know if you use that a lot. Getting out to dogfight, we can go over that a little bit more. But just
the only time I've been exposed to it is in teaching a kids class, and then you showed me a couple times.
The dogfight, I feel it helps me get out from underneath, from a bigger person. So we got 15 minutes before Tanner's class. We can review a little bit of the half guard and then we can roll if you want. And we'll just do that transitional where I want you to feel like you're defending the half guard and then either framing to regard or framing to stand up. And I'm gonna go 50%, but just enough to where I want you to think those are your concepts. And if you can sweep with the lockdown, cool. If you lose the lockdown, you go to mount, cool. Whatever it is, I want you to just think of you're not gonna let me pass your guard. If you feel like I'm gonna pass your guard, either frame to escape and create space, or suck me in to lock me in to sweep. Yeah. That's what the whole concept now. It's not winning or losing, it's just, I just can't pass.
I want you to pass, sweep if I can.
Yeah. And we'll start from the open guard. Yeah, we're good. Smash you. Yeah. It seems more playful, but you have a little more purpose and direction on that. I don't feel that you're using your strength as much as you're just using my weight. The moment you felt me getting under, you started to scramble. Yeah. And that little lockdown, you didn't get the exit. Perfect sweep. You didn't go to a submission, but you created space to get out of that position. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just in this 45 minutes. It's like getting out my catalog of what I'm, at least in the mode, it all goes away. Yeah. And I keep some, but it's like, okay, just keep moving through this. He does that, I got this. I like the idea of like trying to keep one anchor, like however you put that, but if I get two, I don't know, I'm just floating. Yeah. So I can put one down.
No one's ever taught me that. I just saw me doing it and I realized, oh, that's not good. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that, oh, I'm reinventing jiu-jitsu. No, I'm just saying, I'm sure these are fundamental principles that black belts probably forget to point out. Like, tell the kids something, go, okay, I don't do that. So, if you want, we can roll or we can keep going, I don't care.
Let's do this, maybe.
Sure.
Switching it out and then do a roll to wrap up.
Yeah, because he's like you said, he's got 830. Do you want to try working from the top to see what I do?
Yeah, I feel your.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Try to get you to half guard. You don't pass me right away. What you tend to do with the double leg. Yeah. I know. Seeing everything I showed you. So from the body lock, felt ineffective once I started putting it on your head. But I could try to shimmy and mermaid out, but with that one, I waste too much energy. If you're already sprawled out, I'm gonna try to wiggle out. But if not, I'll just regard one leg. So you're seeing pretty much everything went over. Lockdown. I didn't go to the submission with the lockdown. Went back to sweeping.
I mean, one of the things that was obvious though, like, is your level of patience. Right, like, I felt like you guys, okay, there you are, there you are, there you are. But it wasn't like, there was at no point that I felt like this kind of mind to lose. And I could feel you just being patient there until I get that underhook or whatever.
So, in that sense, knowing the strong positions you need to find, here, 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 this little lockdown. Let me turn that off down, unless it's important. Send the VA message saying, if they're local counseling, it's probably. So anyways, so let's go, you on the bottom. Knowing what positions you need to get to your work from. Get you on camera. And I'll put less, not pressure. I'll make it slower so that you can transition. It's not like, this is so you can work this move, right?
Just work the moves going over.
Yeah. You can go as fast as you want. I'm just not trying to dominate in the positions as much as where you get to strong points. hard underhook, frame on my head, create some space. Or frame on my neck. There we go. Sweep over your head. So if you feel like I'm gonna double down and drive forward, get that little elevator step. You wanna switch? So right here, if you can walk your foot close to my butt, it'll elevate your knee. So walking your foot close to my butt. And then you can either drive to go to mount, or you can drive for a kneecap. You have the underhook, that's all you really need. You put it up the underhook, or you can go straight to mount like you did. So that little position, when you were at an advantageous position, your knee was a little bit compromised. Think of toe walking your heel close to my butt, and it's elevated. So once your knee starts coming out, elevate this a little bit. Once you're there, you were kind of like struggling to just walk your toes towards my butt. It's gonna bring that knee up. Now you can either drive it all the way over, or go to the kneecap. Knowing that you got this underhook is a big thing. Try to keep those down underhooks and smash me in the back. Morning.
Yeah, it's funny when you said that. That's what my mind was. I was like, I know there's a way to kind of pull my knee up, but I'm kind of going against the flesh instead of like, but I can feel it there.
It's those little subtleties that I forget, and I know that's there. I'm like, just been driving the knee. I'm like, wait, I can slow down, post on the top. So if you give me a half guard, whichever one it is, and I'm kind of here. I'm not all the way through, but if I hip switch and I bring this knee closer, 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 I'm bringing this hip. Like my knee's not through yet, but now I brought my foot closer to your butt. Now all I gotta really do is just frame on the knee.
Right in the middle.
Right? So if
it's the hardest thing to try to disengage from strength and trying to use those structural points that we have. Shoot, move, and communicate, right? Are you gonna run full sprint, or are you gonna just move fast enough to get there, control your breathing, and make that shot, right? Same thing, like, I'm up, you seize me, I'm down. That's exactly what we're doing right now. So I don't have a plan, and you call it patience. I'm more like, I'm safe here, I'm safe here, I'm safe here. Yeah.
Wait, Dr. White, that way.
I didn't think of it that way till just now, but that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It seems like I'm being strategic, but I'm not.
Well, that's,
I know.
that's strategic.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, my thing is like, when my son, and I relate everything back to him because I see jiu-jitsu doing 11-year-old who's been doing it for 5 years, who's good, but he downs his and stuff. I go, trust your training and equipment. You know? I go, you gotta trust, you put the time in. It's not the week before, it's the 5 years collectively.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
No, for sure.
I may or may not be in tomorrow. That's my birthday. I might make him some pancakes.
Yeah, no, I show up regardless. Some